Okay, today we will be focusing on compo, okay, particularly in terms of creating tension. Okay, because you do know that, the story mountain, right? You have rising action, climax, falling action, right? And resolution. So the tension part will fall under the climax part. Okay, so I think you're quite familiar with the story mountain. Okay, later we'll go through that in detail. Yeah. And suspense in your rising action as well. Okay, so rising action, because you need to like have something, have a plot basically, right? You need to have a plot and then you want to make your readers interested. So you do need to be able to create some form of tension and suspense. Okay, so that will be for the compo part. And then for the other components like grammar, MCQs, and vocabulary close, all these are going to be we'll these are just additional parts. So after these two parts, I will probably give you a short break. Okay, then if you have extra time, we can play a game. Then after that, the last second half of the lesson, then we will go through compo. Okay, so that's our plan for today. Yeah. Okay, I don't think I need to go through house rules with you. Okay, because you are regular student. I think you're very familiar with this. Okay, so we will go straight into grammar MCQ, right? J.K. Rowling. Okay, have you read J.K. Rowling's book before? Do you know who is J.K. Rowling? Have you read Harry Potter? Yes, she is the author for Harry Potter series. Yeah, so she is really famous, right? She is one of the most famous. J.K. Rowling is one of the most popular writers. What all time? What do you think is the answer?
C.
Very good. Okay, it's most popular writers of all time. So I guess this one is something like a collocation, right? They just belong together. Of all time means that if we were to compare different generation or different era, J.K. Rowling is considered one of the most popular writers. Okay, do you finish reading all of Harry Potter series? No, just a few, one or two. Yeah. Okay, she is in fact I think one of the most successful authors, because usually authors um I mean, they do make money, but they don't make as much and also as much popularity as J.K. Rowling. So maybe just to set you the context, yeah. This is her. Okay. And these are the books she has written. So of course, the most famous one will be the Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter, and I think there are 7 books in the series. Harry Potter and the all this, right? Goblet of Fire, Prisoner of Azkaban, Chamber of Secrets. So all these are written by her, right? So yeah, basically that's that. These are her books. Okay, so of all time. All right, now next one. I had an English test. What quantifiers this morning?
D.
Very good. Okay, the teacher always say, oh, I'm going to test you on fractions. Okay, I'm going to test you on vocabulary. So on, right? It's a test on. Answer is D. Okay, quantifiers basically are words like, for example, some, many, much, several. So any English words that suggest quantity are considered a quantifier. A quantifier is actually a determiner. Okay, it's an example of a determiner. Because under determiner, you also have articles like, for example, an, and the. Okay, so this is part of grammar actually. So you're going to have an English test on quantifiers. Okay, next one. Do you know those people what that big bright beach umbrella?
B.
Yes. Okay, under the umbrella. So this is the preposition that we use, right? Under. We don't really say below the umbrella, right? It depends on the object also that you're referring to. So it's under the umbrella. Definitely not at and in the umbrella. Okay, it just doesn't sound right. Yeah. Okay. So this one is it. Okay, number 4. The nature lover looked at the beauty of the hillside with his binoculars.
C.
C, yes. Through, because if you look at the binoculars, you know what's a binoculars, right? Yeah. Okay, so if you think about it, usually the preposition through is referring to like a tunnel, you know, you look through something like a hollow place. So if you look carefully at the binoculars, right, there are like hollow spaces in between. So when we use a preposition, of course, it's looking through a binoculars because of this hollow part whereby you can just look through. Okay, I think there are lenses here also. The lenses here actually helps to, you know, magnify certain things when you're looking at something. Okay. So quite recently, I've just been to the New Bird Park. Have you been to the New Bird Park? Bird Paradise? No, not yet. Yeah, I actually saw some visitors holding on to the binoculars looking at the birds. Okay, so binoculars. Yeah. So yes, it is through his binoculars looking at the beauty of the hillside. Yeah. Okay, number 5. The mischievous girl jumped what the chair and hurt her legs.
Over.
Okay, because if you were to jump over, it means that, okay, maybe this is the chair. I can't really. So if she jumped over the chair, it basically means that, you know, she's not injured herself. And also, usually people don't jump over the chair because the chair is really just too high. It's like a hurdle. Okay, so something that is more, I would say, more reasonable, more logical would be jump off the chair. So she probably was standing here and she jumped off. And maybe she injured herself. Because to jump over the chair, I think it's not an easy feat. Okay, so you have to also think about the whether or not it's reasonable. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so jump off the chair, jumped off. Answer is D. Very good. Any questions so far for grammar? No? Everything's good? Yeah. Okay, so these are the answers for grammar. Okay, we're going to move on to vocabulary close. Okay. So, let's go through the words first. What is the meaning of accommodation? When do you hear this word? Like, for example, if you're going overseas, someone will say, oh, I need to book the accommodation, right? I need to book the accommodation to go certain places. So accommodation. Someone is coming in. Hold on. Jera. Hi, Jera. We just went through grammar. Maybe you just want to quickly, if actually you don't have to take down the answers, okay? Because we will still post the annotated ones on your student's account. Okay, so basically just a quick one. J.K. Rowling is one of all time, okay, because it's basically words that exist together, so of all time. And I had an English test on, okay, on something. So your teacher always say, well, I'm going to test you on something. Yeah. Number 3, because it's umbrella, so the preposition is under, right? Number 4, it's through his binoculars because it's through a hollow tube, so through. And lastly is jumping off. So we were just saying that it shouldn't be jumped over because over is something that's not quite reasonable. We don't usually jump over a chair. Okay, we jump off a chair. Yeah. Okay, so now we are at vocabulary and we were just discussing what is the meaning of accommodation. What is the meaning of accommodation? Anyone knows what's the meaning of accommodation? No? Sometimes when you go overseas, your parents will say, okay, let me book the accommodation, or where will the accommodation be? Right? So basically an accommodation it can be either a room, okay? It can also be like an apartment or even a building or a house. Okay, anywhere, any kind of logic, okay, any kind of house, room, apartment, or building in which a person may live or stay. Okay, so accommodation is basically a house, a room, an apartment, or a building in which a person may live or stay. Yeah, so that's accommodation. All right. Now, chalet. Have you heard of the word chalet before? Not yet. Okay. Chalet is quite similar. It is actually a type of accommodation. Okay, it's actually a type of accommodation. Okay, but it's in the British context, it basically means like a wooden house with overhanging eaves. Okay, I'll show you later. Okay. Okay, let me show you a picture of a chalet. But Singapore also, we do have chalets, but Singapore chalets are like, you know, those like government houses whereby they actually rent it out to people for them to book for a few nights, you know, just to have like barbecue and all. Okay, but really if you talk about like in European context, it's like when you see this kind of houses, these are called chalet. So they are wooden kind of house, right, with a roof and all. And they're usually found in like Swiss Alps, you know, in Switzerland. It's kind of ski chalet. So these are like the interior part of it. Okay, it looks very cozy, right? So this is like a traditional ski chalet versus a modern ski chalet. Let's see. Oh, okay. I think of course, the one at the bottom seems more modern than the one at the top. The one at the top seems more traditional. Okay, so there's a ski chalet. These are traditional chalets. Yeah, traditional. So very woody, right? A lot of wood inside. Yeah. Then modern ones would be like that, you know, real modern ones. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Now that will be for chalet. And then we have cramped. Okay. The meaning of cramped, of course, means that it's just very minimal space, right? When you are cramped in certain things, right? You feel cramped. It's very small and very restricted. Okay. It's a small. So sometimes you say, oh, it's so cramped over here. Can you please move over to the other side? Right? It's very uncomfortable, very cramped. Okay. Now, cruise can be a noun, can be a verb, but because it has an ed, it's actually a verb. Okay, a cruise ship is basically a ship that's really huge and it just has all sorts of activities on it so that people can, you know, the visitors can enjoy themselves with. Okay, so cruise meaning It can mean like a vehicle, okay, that really travels very smoothly. It cruises, okay.